Israel is blind to it because they think that they're in a war against a terrorist group. That's what they're telling themselves, and that's what they're telling their own people. It's also important to understand that on October 6th, support for Netanyahu inside Israel was at an all-time low. They had just voted him into prime ministership the previous year. He's under investigation for corruption and I just lost it. He's under criminal fraud for corruption and fraud. He's been in power for a combined total of 16 years, and he was trying to change the judicial system from within so that he could no longer be under indictment. So Israelis have, for a long time now, mistrusted and disliked Netanyahu. So when Hamas attacked, that was a release valve for him. He now had something that he could focus the Israeli people on other than his own fraudulent and corrupt rule in power. You know who Netanyahu's close friends with? Vladimir Putin. The two men are friends and allies.
Yeah.
So that means Putin knows exactly how Netanyahu will respond to something, and the two of them have a straight line of communication. So it makes perfect sense that Iran would communicate with Russia about how they distract the West. Putin would be able to predict Netanyahu's response almost exactly, not to mention the fact that he can call Netanyahu on a little presidential phone and encourage him to continue attacking Palestine, right? The Israel is being played, and they have already lost one foot to stand on. The world supported them on October 8th. Nobody supports them outside of the United States, really, right now, which is why the president of the fucking United States had to get on TV and essentially beg the American people to support Israel, because we're all a little confused. Like, how is this fair? How is this legal? Which it's not. According to international courts, Israel is committing war crimes, just like Russia is committing war crimes in Ukraine. But we're not being told that message from our leadership. We're being forced to find it on our own through our own research. And our government instead is playing this as a political chip in the ongoing Republican versus Democrat bipolarization.
Well, I wish we were watching this in like a Netflix movie and not in real time.
I agree.
This stuff's been hard to cover. It's very emotional. There is a fog of war. People are being played. Old allies are betraying each other. New allies are forming. But you know, Iran I hate to say it, they have done a great job of moving the chess pieces and creating this tinderbox stoked by emotion. And, you know, hopefully people can see through this, but right now it doesn't look like they are.
Right. And the future will tell the biggest story, right? If Israel continues to actually execute this 3-part plan, I mean, there's no appetite among the American public for the killing of innocent women, children, and elderly. That is a massacre and a humanitarian crisis for sure.
Yeah.
And across the Muslim world, there is no appetite for the continued oppression of the Palestinian people. So Israel is not only cutting itself off at the knees within its own Middle Eastern community, but it's also cutting itself off at the knees with support from the United States. So this is a game that they are not going to win, and it's a game that only benefits the enemies of the United States. I understand why the president is asking for American support, because he understands that if he goes into an election year with 2 wars raging where the American allies are losing, then America is going to think that we look weak. But he's also playing a financial game where he understands that we are in a financial crisis. And the only way that we prevent our financial crisis is by finding a way to keep money into our own system, which is why he wants us to be sending humanitarian aid and weapons abroad, because essentially then the government can pay into the American economy and keep us afloat. But it's a bad game. It's a rough place to be. And I respect where the president is, but I don't respect how he's handling the situation.
If you like this short clip, make sure you click here to see the next clip, or here to see the full podcast episode.